We can't have a Halloween season without monsters. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is April if you've never been here before. Today's gonna be a fun one. Earlier in the month, I brought you some vampire recommendations, and then I brought you some witch recommendations. So we're gonna round out all my favorites, and today we're gonna do monster romance recommendations. This is kind of a newer subgenre for me. I've only started reading them probably in the last 6 months to a year, but it's definitely been one of my favorites because I just love the unique creatures that authors come up with and the logistics of everything. So I have 5 books that I've read that I think you guys should absolutely read, and 5 books that I want to read on this list. Let's get into it. The first monster romance that I have for you is one of my favorites, and it is No Getting Ogre You by M.L. Eliza. I've talked about this book and even recommended it to several people, but it's so good. There's a woman hiking in the woods. She falls down in a cave, and who happens to find her but one of the sweetest cinnamon roll ogres you ever did see. He's a bit of an outcast with his ogre clan, and he's never seen a human before. He doesn't know how to take care of her or feed her, but he tries. And the whole time he just kind of really starts to like her. There is a language barrier here, so both the heroine and the ogre are trying to communicate with each other, and she just realizes how gentle and peaceful he is, and she really starts to fall for him too. And I don't know, I just really loved this one. If you're looking for more like a sweeter romance, then I definitely think this is for you. And the next recommendation I have is A Ship of Bones and Teeth. This is one of my favorite books of the year, and it's a Little Mermaid retelling mixed with Pirates of the Caribbean. Marin in here is a siren who makes the stupidest deal of her life when she is young and wants to be a human girl, to marry a prince, only that prince is a total jerk and an abuser and really makes her miserable for 10 years until she gets on a ship and meets Captain Ramsay Bones. Her monstrous side slowly trickles out of her, and every time she shows a little bit of it, Captain Ramsay Bones is completely enraptured by it. He absolutely loves how brutal she can be, and he just has eyes for her. And I really loved this. This is probably one of my favorite pirate romances of all time, honestly. And this mermaid is no sexy, cunning mermaid. She's definitely a monster. The next one is actually not a romance, but I'm going to include it because it's an erotica. So we're just gonna go there. It's a monster erotica. There will be no HEA, so keep that in mind. This is Escape the Island of Eldritch Lust. It's a choose your own erotic horror adventure story. And man, the monsters in here are unique. They're vicious. They just want to breed you. There's a lot of breeding kink in here, but man, it was so interesting. And it being in that choose your own adventure style, I immediately wanted to go back and make different choices as soon as I was done reading. It was like a game trying to get to the end without dying, and it was so fun. I have a whole vlog about it as well, and this was highly entertaining. I highly recommend it. Even though it's not a romance and you will not get an HEA, there are erotic elements in this, and I think it's still quite enjoyable. And the next recommendation is The Dragon's Bride by Katie Roberts. This one is another cinnamon roll dragon daddy. In this one, you have basically a bunch of women who make deals with this demon, and in exchange for whatever they are looking for, in this particular one, she wants her abusive husband to die. She has to give herself over to a monster of their choosing for 7 years, and if they have children with that monster, the children stay with the monster. So this lovely dragon here bids on the heroine and thus starts a very interesting relationship with each other. This dragon again has a lot of caretaking vibes here, and he is on the sweeter side and he doesn't do anything that she doesn't want to do. So that's why I think I loved it the most. Katee Roberts books tend to be very spicy and short. I enjoy this fantasy series from Katee Roberts. This one is probably my favorite and also the first one, but they're quite enjoyable, short reads. So the sweetness of this one is probably why I like it the most. And if you can get past the fact that this monster is a bug, I think you will greatly enjoy Mating the Mantis. This is a weird ass romance, okay? You have a girl just obsessed with praying mantises. She studies them, she's a scientist. She's like the Tara Reid of scientists. And she has a thing for praying mantises, okay? She just really wants to have a relationship with them. So one day she's in the lab and her lab buddies down the hall have an enlargement raised. So she takes her favorite praying mantis, Gordon 45. You're gonna have to guess why there's 45 Gordons. And she wants to enlarge him so she can have her way with him, only that's not exactly the bargain that she gets. I totally get it if you can't get past the bugs, and he definitely is on that line of whether this is ick or interesting. I just sometimes really love that balance. So the first of the 5 recommendations I have that I have not read yet, but I am highly interested in, is Killers and Monsters by Cleo Evans. I read the first book in this series and it was with a Cerberus monster. Cleo Evans writes some incredible spice that is highly enjoyable. The plot in the first one, take it or leave it, but I am still highly intrigued by this series and want to read more. This one is a dragon daddy shifter. So something about she is married to someone and he just kind of leaves her alone forever, and she's guarded by this dragon person, I think. And yeah, I think there's a throuple situation in this one as well. So it's gonna be a bit poly. I'm down with that. And I really am intrigued by this literal DILF. The next book on my list is Stealing the Troll's Heart by Leon Riley. I'll be the first to admit that the covers are exactly what's pulling me in on these ones, but the whole series have beautiful covers and really interesting monsters, so I want to read them. Talise is a survivor, but she's always been a bit strange and unsatisfied until she tries to rob 2 trolls. So their peoples are at war, it's a bit of a taboo relationship, and there's a language barrier. And again, it just sounds so interesting. I absolutely love the knife to the throat in this cover, and it definitely makes me want to read it. The next is actually an anthology, and there are a lot of stories tied to it, and that is Creepy Court. And there is so many different authors in this, but it kind of surrounds this mall in the 80s and with all different types of monster short stories. There are a lot of incredible monster romance authors in this, like Cleo Evans, Beatrix Hollow, Maeve Black, Ashley Bennett, Lily Mayne, so many different ones. You say monsters in an 80s mall and you got me. And the last monster romance book that I am recommending me and you to read is Dating and Dismemberment. This is with 2 monsters. Darla is haunting Camp Clear Creek, like all of the teenagers there. And then Jarkoak, the monster, comes in and also needs to haunt Camp Clear Creek for a different reason. This just looks adorable, and I definitely like, even though I like my dark monsters, I definitely like my light and fluffy rom-com-y monsters as well. So I really wanted to read this. It looks just cute. Anyways, that's it for all the monster romance recommendations today. If you have a favorite monster romance, put them in the comments below for everyone to hear, so maybe we can all check them out together. Thank you for joining me today, and as always, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!